Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. Consciousness is everything. I've been talking a lot about consciousness. After reading Your Faith is Your Fortune by Neville Goddard, I'm pretty much at this point now where I really think it's everything. Consciousness is key to the whole manifesting game, to expanding our lives, to changing our lives, to having more income, more love, more wealth, more boats, cars, people, whatever. More parties at your house, whatever it is, more movies that you're in. Consciousness is how this is attained. And I've noticed that there's kind of two basic general polarities when it comes to how we manifest. Now, I think all of us kind of start at the one polarity early on, and then as we get better at this, we start to kind of mix in the middle. We understand that the other polarity is where we need to be coming from, but we kind of tend to mix the two, and eventually we get really good and we stay just in the proper polarity. Now, what am I talking about? Proper polarity, not proper polarity? What I'm talking about is those of us that manifest looking at the outer world versus those of us that manifest from the inner world. Very, very different scenarios. I've got two different examples that I'm going to use to try to help illustrate the difference between the two. Now, my example, we're going to start with this gentleman named Ronald. Wonderful, wonderful guy. Made up, of course, but he's a fantastic individual. Ronald's making barely enough money to get by, but he doesn't worry about bills. He's got a little extra money, occasionally gets to go out to dinner, whatever, right? He's not dying, he's not hurting. He's kind of in a good middle place for like a lot of us. And Ronald gets a couple weeks of vacation a year, and he wants to go to Europe. So what he decided, he said, screw it, I'm going to go to Europe. That's my plan. I'm going to spend 7 days out there, and I'm going to go to Europe. Never been. I specifically want to see France. We'll see. Now, there's two ways Ronald can go about his manifestation. There's the outer world manifester. The outer world version of Ronald looks at it like this. Wow, okay, so I want to go to France. Man, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get away from work. I mean, it's hard to get away. Like, I work a lot. I only get 2 weeks. Like, 7 days? Really? Am I going to blow an entire week on one manifestation or one trip? I don't know. I mean, I really want to go. So, all right, screw it. I'm sure I can figure out a way to probably get the time off somehow or get buried out of all the work I've got to do. But then, man, planes are expensive, right? The plane ticket, I'm going to have to go out there. The hotel room's probably going to be a couple $100 a night. Like, man, this trip's going to cost me like a few $1,000s. That's like, wow. Oh, man, all right, well, this, that's what I want to do. I'm using the law of attraction. I see myself in France. I've got a picture of the Eiffel Tower over here. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. Woo! All right. Wow. Hope I can get past all these challenges. That's the outer world manifester. The inner world manifester. The inner world manifester named Ronald. All right. So I've already put in for my week off. It's going to be 6 months from now. I've got it. Talked to the boss. Done. Time's set. I'm going to go to Europe. I don't know how. It's going to be able to. I'll probably start putting a little money aside every single paycheck. I'm going to manifest this perfect package that's going to allow me to get out there, get the hotel, get the travel, the whole 9 yards, in a package that's actually going to make a lot of sense for me. I know this is going to happen because this is something I've wanted to do forever. I can feel it in my bones. It's going to be so fun to be able to walk in the streets and actually see history, as opposed to here in the United States where the second anything's older than 40 years old, we blow it down and rebuild it. So we don't like anything that's old and got dust on it. Forget that. So that's going to be what I'm going to do. I'm just going to manifest the trip, and I know something's going to work out. There's a huge difference between the way these two individuals see life. To some degree, these two things look very different, right? Like, oh, Dan, you're using a ridiculous example, but then think about it for a second. How many of us actually look at what's going on in our outer world and let that guide our belief, let that guide what we think we can do, let that shift our consciousness versus knowing that I'm going to do this. I took the time off. That question's checked. That checkbox is taken care of. I know I'm going to find some sort of deal because, yeah, I'm not making a crap ton of money, but I could figure out a way to do this. Very different thinking. Let's take the second example. I've got a wonderful lady named Susie. She's a very, very lovely lady. She works in a company where she happens to be interested in this gentleman that she works with. She's talked to him a couple times. She thinks he's really cute. Seems like maybe someone, he's watched her interact and stuff from afar. Seems like someone that she might be kind of interested in. She'd like to get to know him better. So real world, oh yeah, let's also pull in the fact that he doesn't wear a ring, but she thinks he has a boyfriend. Has a girlfriend, sorry. So she's not sure. real world Susie, the outer world Susie, she looks at the situation and goes, well, he's probably got a third party. And I don't know. I mean, a lot of times that's really challenging. Whenever there's a third party that kind of just, I don't know, like he's interested. I don't know where I stand with that. How am I ever going to get his attention when he's already got the attention of someone else? That's going to be weird. Well, obviously, if it's meant to be, I'm doing this law of attraction stuff. If it's going to work out, then obviously that third party somehow is going to disappear. I don't know how. I mean, the third party's so there. I've seen her. She's beautiful, but I don't know. I don't know. I hardly ever see him. You know, it is funny. He works in the other building. Occasionally we bumped into each other, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I hardly ever see the guy. How could it possibly work out? I mean, I don't know. I'm going to use law of attraction. I'm gonna imagine bumping into him, but I just don't know if that's even possible. Or what about that is it girlfriend? Is this third party? Like, how serious is that? Like, we start to entertain all the real world things. Difference between inner world Susie. I'd really love to get to know John better, this gentleman. It would be really cool to be able to bump into this guy. Like, I don't know, he seems really attractive. He might have a girlfriend, I don't know, but I'd really like to get to know him better. I'd like to see if there's maybe something here, maybe some sort of company event. We could bump into each other and chat, maybe after a glass of wine or something and loosen up. We could talk. Maybe he's not happy in a situation. Maybe he's looking for something too. Maybe he's noticed me. Who knows? But I think it would be cool to manifest the ability to get to know him better. Bump into him, have a chit chat, something like that. I'm going to make that happen. Again, very different from what's the outer world like and then manifesting from there versus what do I want to experience? Go to the place where you've already got the thing you want and start stepping backwards from it. Start walking yourself backwards from the place where you already got it. And that way, any of the obstructions that are there, you're coming at them from like the backwards way. So they're not really obstructions anymore. Now you see the little secret door in the barricade. Or now you realize, oh, there's a street that goes down that way. I bet I can get around it going that way. Or, oh, hey, they got parasailing. Look at that. A little wire goes right across the top. That's going to be fun. Woohoo! Right? So coming from the solution, you pass the problem and get to where you are now. Versus coming from where you are now and staring at the barricade, the problem, and getting lost and stuck and, I've got all this doubt. How can I ever get past that barricade? There's huge differences between realizing that what we experience in the world comes from inside of us, comes from what our consciousness is, comes from what we believe is possible or not possible. And when you manifest from the outer world, well, sometimes it might work out. Sometimes you might see, oh, things are going good, cool, things are working out, cool. All right, I'm going to work through this, and I'm going to kind of micromanage my manifestation a little bit, and you'll ink your way towards it. But the second your outer world doesn't match what you're planning on doing on your inner world, your whole entire manifestation falls apart because of doubt. The second you notice your outer world doesn't contain what you're desiring in your inner world, you separate yourself from your manifestation and you annihilate it. The difference is knowing that it's coming from my inner world. Even at the times when you're like, I'm not seeing it yet, but it's all right. I know this stuff's happening. Or I don't see John yet, but I know we're going to bump into each other. I just know it's going to happen. It has to. It's going to. It has to. There's a very different energy when you come at your concern, your manifestation, with the it has to happen. It's can do. It's got to happen. There's a way. There's always a way. This is my dream. Of course I'm going to experience it. I desire this. Why is this desire there? Oh yeah, it was placed in there by God. So of course I'm going to experience it. Versus, oh man, that thing's in the way. I don't know what I'm going to do. Right? And that's a totally different problem because now you doubt. Now you don't believe. So when you look at your desire, when you look at your dream, are you seeing it from having it already? Or are you seeing it from where you don't have it already? Do you realize that the outer world that you're hoping to change is painted by your inner reality? Or do you think that by reacting to the outer world, you're going to get there faster? Or by paying attention to the outer world, that's somehow going to help you along your way? And the answer all of us come to, again, we all start out at the place where we look to the outer world and react. And we think that's how it works. And then we kind of learn some stuff. We read The Secret, Law of Attraction, any number of other awesome books that are out there. And we realize, oh, I might have a little bit of control over this. So we spend some time bouncing back and forth between the two, because ultimately you're like, all right, I'm going to use my mind powers and I'm going to imagine and I'm feeling it. Hooah! All right, cool. And then you're on your way out to work and you realize, oh my God, I do not have this thing already. I don't know what they mean by living in the end. What is that? I don't have it. You're not on my hand, sweetheart. Where are you? You're still in another country. So we immediately kind of fall back, and then we do the technique again, and then we look at the real world and we fall back. And eventually you get yourself to a point where you start to understand, oh, I totally see what I'm doing. Every time I take 4 steps forward, I then take 4 steps backwards because I doubt everything I'm doing. And what we call that in the business is a waste of time. Now, after wasting your time enough times, oh, well, maybe it's not such a big waste after all. Well, might be a hidden gem, might be a pearl hidden within this oyster. But after a few times of doing that, you realize, I see what I'm doing. I keep shifting back. I keep putting my old shoes back on. I think I'm keeping them on all day, but I'm realizing, no. I just saw something happen. I saw a couple kiss, and then I'm like, he's not with me. And then I just watched myself spiral down. Instead of seeing the couple kiss and go, oh man, that's going to be us soon. Different. Night and day, different. You coming at it from inside yourself, realizing that you make your reality? Or are you coming at it outside of yourself, hoping you get a chance to prove yourself, to be what you want to be what you think you can be? You create the opportunities. You create the circumstances. You create the option. Basically, you create the interview to your dreams. What you do once you get to the interview, it's up to you. You got to shine when you get to that point. But you create the interview opportunity for your manifestation. And it comes from the inside and then goes to the outside. Don't ever look to the outside as anything other than what you've been conscious of lately, as of late. And even as that's shifting and changing and expanding, even as your consciousness expands and you keep it up there, your life is a little bit slow to catch up, but it does. And it does. So you let it go. Generally, it'll feel like it's not happening fast enough, but you notice it's happening. That's why you can chill a little bit. But a lot of the times when you look to the outer world, you can't even see that it's happening at all. You can't appreciate how it's maybe happening slowly. You see it as it's not here. It must not be happening. Very different things. If you want to get your dream, get inside yourself. Understand where things come from, where things are made, where the projector that's flicking the light out into your world. Find out where your movie's playing from, because it's from you. And once you've got that figured out, your dreams are in the bag. Dan Radio Style.